What's up, everybody? I'm Dominique the Diva.
And I'm Chey Parker, and we are back for another episode of the Diva Unfiltered podcast.
Yeah, shout out to our YouTube family. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and much, much love to our Streets TV family. Did you put the kids to bed?
Okay, because we for the streets, and we in the streets, and we talk about what's going on in the streets every Thursday at 10 p.m.
Yeah, so it's time to get unfiltered about some things. Now, you already know we always kick things off with what you going through, okay?
Yes.
What are you going through?
What am I going through?
Are you still celebrating your birthday?
I'm still celebrating my birthday. I think it's gonna be like a whole cancer season long thing. I won't say the whole month.
We know girls, we don't celebrate our birthday like just the day. We
No.
do weekends, we do weeks, and we do months.
And I also feel like everyone's just so busy with things going on in their own lives that there were a lot of people that I wanted to celebrate with that I didn't get an opportunity to. So, you know, those little like one-on-one days.
Your birthday is a holiday weekend.
Yeah, and
like,
people have family reunions. They be having cookouts. The kids be having summer camp, birthday parties, field trips. So
that's true.
Yeah, so I'm still celebrating just a tad, but honestly, I'm just basking in the blessing of being 32 and seeing another year.
Yeah.
Being on this journey, healing, evolving, and I don't know. I'm kind of, I'm just like, okay, let's keep celebrating.
Yeah.
Why not?
Seeing another year is a blessing. So
Yes.
all that,
Some people did.
social media rhetoric about getting old and getting older, like another year is a blessing. Like I tell people all the time, I'm proud to be 35. Do not get me fucked up with none of these young ass girls and nobody. No, I'm proud to be.
Because you really just keep getting better.
You keep
getting better.
And better. And you think you don't give up now? Like the older you get, the less fucks you have. And that's the most enjoyable part about getting older to me.
It is.
Because I didn't think I could give any less fucks. And then as I get older,
And then you
I'm
went
like,
to the negatives.
wow,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah. I like it.
Freeing.
I like it because it's really like the world still goes on.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to give a fuck about this. I don't have to solution this.
Nope.
That's something that I'm learning.
I
feel
don't
like
have to
as
have all
Black
the
women,
answers right now.
You don't have to have all the answers. That is what I'm learning, that I don't have to solution all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to other people's problems. If someone is expressing like an issue to me, I don't have to like try to input myself into the solution and try to solution.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
I love that. I think in our 20s we do that. We think like, oh, I have to figure this out. I need to figure it out right now. And I think as you get older, you're just like, it'll work itself out.
Yes. I don't know. I just feel like it'll be fine.
Right. I'll be all right.
God got me.
Yes. Well,
What you going through, friend?
I don't know.
Well, Dominique the Diva has a new show. And I don't know, did you have this on your bingo card? Because I certainly didn't.
I don't know.
It like the blessings in 2023 just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger
And bigger.
And now Dominique the Diva is in the afternoon drive, not only in Washington, D.C. and surrounding areas, but also in Baltimore, Maryland, where her best friend is also on the morning show
Yes.
from 6 to 10 a.m. And you can make sure that you catch Dominique the Diva every weekday from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. in Richmond. She is all up and down 95, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Give it up for the one, the only Black female radio personality that has been in this many markets on the East Coast, Dominique the Diva.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. But thank you. We all knew this would happen.
I'm so proud of you.
We all knew this would come.
We all knew it would happen. And listen, you bitches, don't be mad. Because what do you say? If it was supposed to be you.
It would have been you, but it's me, bitch. And so I'm so excited to be on the radio. That's right. For anyone that's driving on 95, from the time you hit Richmond until the time you hit DC to the time you hit Baltimore, you have to hear my voice. And so I'm so excited to take over I-95 North, I-95 South from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
If you are taking a road trip, so you can pretty much travel from the 757 to the 804 to DC, to Baltimore, actually, and hear my girl. And it is so well deserved. I feel like, we're the type of people that don't like brag on ourselves super heavy. So you're not the type of person to go around and say like, oh, I've been doing radio for 15 years, but you've been doing radio for like so long, but like in the best way. And you're still so fresh and so young and so hip and so new and so interesting and entertaining. And who else who but Dominique the Diva?
Thank you, friend.
Who would they get to save?
I don't know.
The afternoons. Who would they get to save the DC market besides Dominique the Diva?
You need friends that gas you up like this,
I'm
so
just
you
saying.
don't have to.
But did I lie?
No, I'm so excited. I'm excited
for you.
Let's make radio great again. Let's make it spicy again. Let's do it up.
Let's make radio great again. Are you gonna make the hat?
No, because I don't like that. But it would be a purple hat, by the way. Let's get rid of the red.
Right.
But like, I'm just excited to just, be in the afternoon drive. That's a very important time slot. People are busy. They coming home from work. They grabbing the kids from daycare. They picking up, food for dinner. They in the drive-through. They rushing in the house to see if you left the meat out like they told you to pull the meat out the fridge. Like, they got to know what's going on, and it's up to me to really keep them abreast of that. And, I already told you, like, Richmond is so important because I'm born and raised there. So being there middays, getting them through the workday is important. And then, of course, the capital, the nation's capital.
During the afternoon drive when everybody's on the road.
Yeah, and then in Baltimore, like, because, we bang with Baltimore heavy.
Right.
Because I feel like with Baltimore, like, I'm from Richmond, and, when you're not from here, or, the whole DMV situation, people from Richmond are always like, but we not the DMV. And then the same thing with DMV, same thing with Baltimore. They're like, but we not DC. DMV, we ain't DMV, we Baltimore. Like, I can relate to that because I'm from Richmond, and everyone's just proud to be where they're from. But I always remind them, outside of this area, like when I was living in LA or anywhere else, it's DMV. It's every single one. It's all of us.
DC, Maryland,
and so
Virginia.
I'm so proud to be from, Richmond, Virginia, and to just be on the airwaves in the whole DMV. And you might have to king me. You might have to king me now.
Yeah, I think we gotta king you, crown you. It's well deserved.
Thank you.
Word.
So make sure y'all tune in to the Dominique the Diva Show from 3 to 7 p.m. on WKYS and of course 92Q. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's get unfiltered and say all the things that we can't say on the radio.
Cause child, we're on the radio so much that when we come here, it's time to really just tap into what the fuck is going on, because a lot of fucking shit is going on. And first and foremost, what we need to talk about is that Dr. Umar Be Right.
He always be right. I be trying to tell y'all that. When the whole corny brigade attacked me, I put up a Dr. Umar post and was said, look, I'm just saying what he was saying, because he be saying that real shit. Now, these young brothers wasn't ready for Dr. Umar.
And one thing that y'all gotta stop doing is getting behind a podcast mic, thinking that you're a journalist, thinking that you can go toe-to-toe
with doctor,
especially with a doctor such as Dr. Umar, okay?
Yes.
Who always is no man that is a few words.
No. And so in this particular viral clip, I'm actually glad it's going viral. And then after this viral clip, if we're not gonna have progressive conversations surrounding this topic, we're gonna have to shut the fuck up about it. Because honestly, that's what white supremacy want us to do. They want us to sit here as black women and black men and point at each other and talk about why we're this way, and you're too masculine and you're not feminine.
And you're too feminine.
You got too many kids and you're not leading and they just want us to sit here and do that. And so after this conversation, if we're not talking about solutions or how to be progressive, then what are we talking about? We might as well just shut up, because that's what this conversation was about. Why black women are so masculine. When we've told y'all time and time again.
Oh, but they don't listen to us. And that's what I have, realized, that we won't say all, because on this podcast, we never generalize to that point that we say all.
Because there's some real niggas out there.
It's definitely some real niggas out here, and we fuck with the real niggas too, though.
We love you. We mean it.
All right.
No, okay, for real though.
Because what? I know Cardi said broke niggas, but fake niggas don't deserve no pussy.
Fake niggas don't. But Dr. Umar is responding to everyone that was up in an uproar about what he had to say, which I thought he was very clear.
Yeah, and I mean, if you missed it, essentially this clip went viral. You probably did catch it, but really quickly, he's talking about, why black women are so masculine, and it's because collectively as a community, not individually.
Because that was fucking them up.
You know what I mean?
Individualism versus the community was really fucking them up. And I really want my young millennial black men to understand it's about what y'all do as a collective, as a community, not what you're doing. Because if Tyrone not doing it, then what the fuck?
But black women historically have always had a stronger idea or stronger representation of how to exhibit, community values or like supporting a village. But also Dr. Umar is saying here that black men have just not done the best job collectively as a community to raise successful, self-aware, respectful,
emotionally intelligent
black men. And that's why Black women have had to take on not only the Black man's responsibility when it comes to raising their kids, when it comes to providing for the household, but also to take on a woman's responsibility, which is traditionally taking care of the home, or whatever you want to call it. And so
it's a lot.
If I gotta be the daddy to our son because you're not in the house, it doesn't matter how good of a father you are outside of the house, because at the end of the day, some things you're just not going to be able to do from day to day, and that is just really the bottom line. And so if you're not there, so what is a woman supposed to do?
It's so crazy how that woman, though, gets blamed and gets all of the blame or the flack, and not the man
when she's the one showing up.
And then even in the clip or during the pod, because I did get a chance to go watch the entire pod, and I think it was great. And I think at the end, those young men actually were asking Dr. Umar to help them be better men. But it's just like, how is the woman supposed to do all of this and still be soft and not have an attitude when she's had to take on both roles? And even when they get to talking about why some Black men are not in the house, you know, the systemic things that's been in place to keep them from there, or things like, you know, drugs, you know, being in jail and things like that. But what about the niggas that just wasn't there because they wasn't there?
Like, it's a lot of those.
It's a lot of those.
That doesn't have to be the story.
That does not have.
It doesn't have to be the story.
The story.
A lot of us are incarcerated. Like, a lot of our kings, like our Black men, are incarcerated, addicted to drugs, whatever the case is. But a lot of y'all aren't. A lot of y'all aren't.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you some real.
A lot of y'all are just deciding that you want to start new lives. A lot of y'all are just deciding that you're tired of all the responsibility that comes with having a dick.
I'm gonna tell you like this.
It is what it is.
I don't even think I ever said this, but my real father was not a part of my life, but that nigga lived in my neighborhood. So as a young girl, I knew a long time ago that niggas do what they want to do. Because why you not in my life, but I can see when you in your driveway at the end of the day going to your family. We in the same neighborhood, dog. He wasn't on drugs. He never been to jail. That nigga just an irresponsible ass nigga who was young and decided to do whatever. Now, thank God for my stepdad, who I consider my dad since I was 4 years old. I never had a void of a father because he was always there since I was 4. So that's my dad. But I knew what was going on. And when I would walk home from school, some people would be like, who's that you talking to? Because sometimes he would stop his Pathfinder and I would just be like, oh, hey, you know what I mean? But it is kind of weird because you blood, but also like that's what you chose. And it had nothing to do with him being on drugs or being in jail.
Or the white man.
And it had nothing to do with my mom's choice, okay? So that's what Dr. Umar was saying. Like, y'all have to be responsible because the choices are bad. Y'all want to be worried about who picking Pookie and Ray Ray, but there would be no Pookie or Ray Ray if we had other fathers before y'all raising y'all the way they should, and they would not even exist. They would not even exist. And so
that's the point.
That's the entire point. And I think that people don't understand that. And I think he broke it down really good right here when he was saying, wow, since you didn't agree with what I said, I had to say you're just going to you're not just going to misrepresent my words. I do think it's interesting that online a disagreement can easily lead to hate just because you disagree.
It's really weird.
Like, you don't have to hate it. But anyway, he says, I never said Black men were responsible for women's bad decisions. I said that Black men are responsible for the poor options and mates that our sisters have to choose from because we have no system in place to raise and nurture Black boys in order to provide for our queens with the kings that they need. I'm talking community systems and solutions while you're talking about emotions and individualism. And if you don't get it, you just not gonna get it.
And listen, Dr. Umar has told y'all, and we know this for a fact, that sometimes everybody can't come. So if you're in the community and you don't get it up until this point, some of you niggas got to get left behind because the movement has to continue to move and it has to continue to move forward.
Yeah.
And if you just want to sit in that view set, in that perspective, then that is seriously on you.
That is.
I'm gonna keep it real. You know what? To bring it down to an individualism level, like my ex, I honestly truly felt like, in terms of how to treat women and how to be in a committed relationship with a woman, did not set a positive example for his sons. Your sons see you frolicking, talking to different women, being on FaceTime with them, calling them, or whatever it is that you're doing. You think that your sons are gonna grow up to then respect women or to wanna be committed to them when they see their father, their role model doing this, or treating their mothers that way, treating your ex-wife that way?
Yeah.
So why do you think, regardless of how much that man decides to provide or how much he thinks that he's there or whatever the case is, like if we are not working together, man and women, as a community to make this work, to make these family units that y'all swear y'all want. Y'all swear y'all want these family units. Y'all swear y'all want it. Y'all swear y'all want it. But then expect for a Black woman to be unhappy and to be suffering and to have her motherhood affected, to have her career affected, to have just her well-being affected for the betterment of the community when you collectively don't do the same. Not talking about you as an individual person, but as a collective, you don't do the same things that you ask of Black women.
Because the reason why the community perspective is so important is that you can only, as an individual, benefit from whatever you got going on, but so long before the issues in the community start to affect you and what y'all got going on. So that's why it has to be a community thing.
If it affects one, it affects one,
it's gonna affect everyone. And we've seen that. And granted, a lot of us young and shit was fucked up before we got here. I say that shit all the time.
But that don't mean you can't
shit
turn
was
over
fucked up before I got here.
Now.
But how are we going to progress? That's why I was like, after this conversation, and even after we talk about it, I'm glad that it went viral. If we're not gonna have progressive conversations or systems in place to actually raise our Black kings, because one thing I feel like it's about men, but I don't like it. I feel like sometimes men feel like, well, I had to figure it out, so that little nigga got to figure it out too. Where I feel like women, we teach young girls early, hey, this is how you set the table. This is how you cook. This is how you take care of yourself. This is how you take care of our home.
How you wipe.
We do that. This is how you wipe. Like, we do that. I remember being in the kitchen with my nana, like, okay, I'm going to set the table. Like, but I feel like, I don't know if, I don't know, I'm not a man, believe it or not. But like, I don't really see that all the time. I feel like a lot of men might feel like, well, I had to figure it out, so you got to figure it out. Not to say they don't have OGs, because then sometimes there's a disconnect there between like how they interact with each other, what's respected, what's heard, and what goes one ear and out the other. But I do feel like, you know, it's up to Black men to lead because we want y'all to lead. We don't want y'all to be afraid
cannot raise
to lead.
Men.
We
Black
cannot
women
raise men.
Can
we can
raise gentlemen.
Right.
We can teach our men to have manners, to know how to treat women because we're women and we know how we want to be treated. But you all as Black men can only teach other niggas how to be a man. We can't do that.
And all that whole do as I say, not as I do, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work. Because
they're going to do what you do.
The young niggas is going to be like, well, OG, you saying this, but that shit ain't work for you.
Right. And they not
that shit ain't work for you and your wife.
They not
that shit ain't work for you and your kids.
Right.
You still sitting here in jail. That shit ain't work for you and your business.
Right.
So how you going to tell me?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that women aren't going for anymore that we had to go for back in the day. They could not necessarily get their own bank account until the 1970s.
Which
they
is
couldn't necessarily do things on their own financially, which is why they then started raising their young girls to make sure they had careers and could take care of themselves just in case. But that doesn't mean we don't want that safe space. I love to be with someone that makes me feel safe emotionally, you know, financially, and all of that. And I feel like...
And it's upon Black women as well. You know, we're not trying to diminish the responsibility that is on Black women to,
uplift our men.
Uplift our men, but also, you know, unlearn some of that extreme, you know, masculinity that we do innately have in us because of slavery times. And I hate to always bring everything back to slavery, but everything goes back to slavery.
It affected us like we were screwed.
Everything goes back to slavery. And so we were literally ripped out of you all's arms. Like Black women were ripped out of Black men's arms, and we were forced to watch you get beat and be emasculated. And so at this point, it is the responsibility of us as Black women to tap into that and be more self-aware, to be like, oh, like I'm operating in a place that like is unnatural to me.
And listen to them when they tell you, like, don't talk to me like that. You know what I mean? Don't talk to these. Don't talk to these
niggas like that. Like I think it is completely unacceptable to ever call a man a bitch.
Hell no.
To call a man, to call
in public,
your nigga,
in private,
to call your man a bitch or a bitch ass nigga. Whoa, like. I don't care what me and this man going through. I don't even think that he's a bitch or a bitch ass nigga. So that would never,
because I wouldn't be with him.
I wouldn't expect for him to call me a bitch
to
my face multiple times. So
don't
like,
ever do that.
We have to watch that no matter how mad we get, no matter how many times this nigga cheated on you, had a baby outside of you, whatever he did. Like as a woman, like we have to learn how to honestly tap out of that extreme masculinity, because we're only doing it in combat. Like
and
in war,
like
that shit is fucking war.
It is a defense thing.
It's unnatural to us.
Yes, and it's definitely a defensive thing. Like, oh fuck it, I got it, dude.
I got it, nigga.
I don't want to
ass nigga.
As soon as I get a chance not to have it, I don't want to have it.
I don't want to have it, okay?
Me.
I don't even want to order my goddamn
food
at the restaurant, okay? That's why when you bitches be saying, don't open the door for me, I can get it. Don't order for me. He ordered for me on the day. Nigga, that's why I don't say nothing when y'all
I don't want to talk to the waiter at dinner. I done told him what I want. He's paying. You said relate a bit.
He's paying, so he's going to tell you what we're getting.
He was like, perhaps a salad? Perhaps not.
Or perhaps
steak smothered in onions, onion rings, sauerkraut.
Like, ask me what I want. Ask me what I want, but don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I love that. I hope that one day that we can find the balance, because like we said, shit has been fucked up for a minute. But now that this is all out there, now that we've regurgitated all the possible talking points over and over again on all these podcasts, what the fuck are we gonna do about it?
What are we gonna do about it? And let's start by being more self-aware. And I think we kind of touched on this, like unlearning masculinity, quote unquote, as a Black woman. And that, I feel like, is the first step has been like this soft girl era thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm in my soft girl era. And even though we take everything to the extreme on the internet, I do think it's tapping into like those parts of just, you know, being in your most natural state, like not, as a Black woman, not feeling like you have to be on the defense all the time, especially with the men that love us. Cause like, honestly, no one's perfect, right? Like all these niggas is human, like we're human, we're not perfect. So like being on the defense all the time with people that love you.
And with new men, you don't even know this man.
You don't even know this nigga.
You mad about the last nigga, that's not.
Maybe you need to take a break. If you that mad, you need to take a fucking break, bitch.
This is Brandon.
Okay? Cause you ruining him. When he get to me, now I gotta undo what the fuck you did. Cause you hurt by the last nigga. I had nothing to do with your baby daddy.
And go find your father. That's not Brandon's fault either.
Or not.
Get some closure.
Go to therapy.
And fix your closure.
Okay.
Bitch. All right, questions I need answers. Why are men taught how to treat women, but women aren't taught how to treat men? We aren't taught how to treat men.
I don't know what world this is in. We saw this tweet going crazy on Twitter, and we were like,
men aren't taught how to treat women.
Question.
Men aren't taught how to treat women. Men back there.
Well, why are y'all still fucking
y'all
it
taught how to
up?
treat y'all? No. Y'all. He said y'all was taught how to treat women.
Are y'all taught how to get women versus
y'all taught how to get ladies or treat them? Both of them. They said both of them. Was I taught how to treat men?
I don't think we were taught in the lens of how to treat men. I think we were taught in the lens of how to take care of a home. So how to set the table, how to wash the dishes, how to wash clothes. And so when I saw this tweet, I said, I necessarily wasn't taught how to like nurture anyone else's emotional needs though. I wasn't like explicitly taught that in childhood. Who the fuck would have been teaching us this shit? Because listen, my grandma didn't have time. My grandma was at work and she was calling me to ask me to take out the meat so she could cook it when she got home. She wasn't teaching me how to, you know what I'm saying?
My great grandmother taught me a lot about love because the second stroke that my great grandfather had, he was no longer in his right mind. And he believed that she was trying to kill him, God rest his soul. But I would see her cook every meal that he ate. And so sometimes he would pull me off to the side, you know, he's not in his right mind, right? And so he's telling me like she's trying to, you know, and I'm like, well, if she's trying to kill you, why you eat her food every day? She still be cooking. She could have put something in them eggs earlier and you was fucking it up. She take you to your doctor's appointments and stuff. So that was teaching me love though, because could you love someone and get up and cook for them every day and provide for them and take them to their doctor's office, and this man in his head thinking, you trying to, you know what I mean? That's love, because now we've been married for 30 plus years. You've had a stroke. You're not in your right mind. But I did this
still take
forever because you're my husband.
Until death do us part.
That was an example of love to me. But as far, I just saw what she did. Back to doing what I say and not as I do. That doesn't work. We're just watching what we think should be done. Yeah. And I knew that even though he wasn't embracing her love, she was still giving love. And that's when I learned. But that also can be dangerous when it comes to, you know, yourself and your own mental after a while. And I think God rest his soul. And my great grandmother is still here to
I think it is amazing to freely give love until it prevents you from loving yourself.
That's it.
You know, when you come to a place where you find yourself not loving yourself or not liking who you are when you look in the mirror, or just feeling like you are making, you know, decisions that are just like not conducive to who you think you are, then that is when the love that you're giving is detrimental. But other than that, like, love is free. It don't cost any fucking thing. So it'd be crazy to me that people don't want to give love, because I'm like, you're not gonna run out.
Right. They say women are taught how to treat men. Spanish women, Asian, and some white women were taught how to treat men. Even some black women were taught. But a lot of black women push against what they're taught and behave opposite. I don't know.
I didn't get this.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get this.
My mom was a great example of a wife, although I think my dad took full advantage of her being a great wife. Women are taught how to treat men, and it usually depends on your upbringing.
If you don't have a man in the home, then how do you see that? Or how do you experience that?
I think about that too with a lot of black men who did not have fathers. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm asking you to love me in a way that you've never really seen before. If you've never seen your mom receive love that way, if you've never seen her get loved on that way, or if you've never seen your father do that, sometimes I think, like, how do you know what to do? Is it because of movies?
Right.
Like, what is that?
Porn?
That's not.
Who knows?
Is it porn?
Yo.
Oh, right.
Like, okay.
Sorry.
No, I like this last one. Okay, now what were black men taught? To leave their families, commit violence against black women, to desire other groups of women more, while also somehow being the least desired group when it comes to non-black women.
Whoa,
and
what?
I thought that this was very interesting because it's super defensive, right? But at the same time, it brings up a very good point of, are black men specifically taught to get women, or are they taught how to treat women?
Interesting.
Because I have no doubt in my mind that men love women, black men love black women, but I question if black men collectively respect black women. I don't think that we're respected as humans. I think we're loved as something that's vital to our community, but I do not think that we are respected.
I agree with that.
Members who contribute, like,
I agree with
in
that.
the way that we do.
And I think that's right, because I feel like we're always there. And so when something is always on the front lines for you, no matter what, and always there, I do feel like there's a little bit less respect.
Like your mama.
Because you always there. And so I can't agree, with that. But I hope that one day that we can come to something that's just like solution based when it comes to hearing each other. Because we pointed the finger at each other enough. So, like, now what are we going to do about it? Because if we keep sitting here having these conversations, pointing the fingers, oh, it's your choices, oh, accountability, oh, then that's exactly what white supremacy wants us to do, while their systems continue to work for them, and while we have no systems working for us.
And no family units. And the family units look different, that's fine, but a family unit is still a family unit. So no matter what our dynamic looks like 10, 15 years down the line from now, like, let's just make sure that we fucking have one.
Yeah.
And we're not just thinking about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, and thank you so much for getting unfiltered with us. Shout out to everybody that's checking us out on Streets TV tonight. We want to keep this convo going, please. I want to hear from all the black men. I want to know who taught you how to treat a lady.
Comments.
Okay, we want to know that. And we want to know from the ladies, who taught you how to treat a man?
And how can we do better? Let's also end each, like, opinion with what we think we can do to do better.
One thing I know we could do better is, like, something that we really the next dude, don't treat him like the last dude, and the next girl, don't treat her like the last girl. And
just a little better.
And get to know her and him before you really decide that you put them in this box of what it is. You know what I mean? Because I don't like that we do that. And sometimes you gotta let the IG rhetoric go. It's just entertainment, and live in the fucking real world.
The internet.
Okay, and
I wish that shit would break down for 3 days.
I really wish it would. But then if that's the case,
Instagram break down for 3 days. Not the whole internet.
Not the whole
just
internet.
Maybe like certain apps. But
we gotta like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay. All right, so we can get these views.
Yes, and we'll catch you next Thursday also right here at 10 p.m. on Streets TV. Love ya. Mean it.
Peace.